Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt, March the 16th, 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking more than ever now. Come on, golden age of the 2020s, having hype. Oh yeah, be ready. In motion, dudes. Are you ready? Conviction. Compete, don't complain. All right. Hello, my elite friends. I'm still offended by selling. Hey, dudes, if you got questions, I've got answers. Type in Bitcoin Meister or do a super chat. Remember, disruptmeister.com. We had a wild and wacky show on Sunday here at the One Bitcoin Show. On Saturday was Beyond Bitcoin Show. It was great. And of course, Friday was This Week in Bitcoin. Every Friday, Guy Swan, Bitcoin Benny, and Corey Clipston were on. It was really a good time. All right, dudes, hashtag stop the panic. I'm contributing to that hot hashtag. Today on Twitter, as I promised you yesterday, I posted a 2-minute video. It is linked to below. If you need a confidence boost, watch it, retweet it. In fact, it was 2 minutes. I read from a little script that I wrote, and I will read it out at the end of this show. But you can go there right now. It's linked to below. Retweet it, spread the word. I really enjoyed doing that little 2-minute video, and it's been pretty popular today on Twitter. So keep on making it, make it more popular. It's linked to below. John Stramless says, you're the vigilant Bitcoiner 24/7, baby. Pound that like button. I couldn't say it better myself. 24/7, I'm breathing this stuff, baby. It's raining out in LA now. Is it raining where you are out there in near the water? Yeah. It's a little, Southern California, expect a little bit more than just rain, but it's the winter, I guess. So we gotta deal with that. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. 24/7 Bitcoin. You never know when you get a new thing. Hey man, I was up at 6 a.m. posting that today. The tweet that I am referring to. So guys, stop the panic. Hashtag stop the panic. It's pretty funny hashtag on Twitter. There's some good contributions to it. So clip, and I will read the entire thing at the end of the show. Will strengthen your hands. So here is a straight out of Manhattan. Here's some news. So many people sought huge sums that the Bakkt branch at 52nd Street and Park Avenue temporarily ran out of $100 bills to fulfill large withdrawals. According to 3 people familiar with the branch's operations, the shortage hit after a rush of requests for as much as $50,000, said 2 people who witnessed the rush. Dude, you guys valuing your wealth in panic coin, in fiat, what can I say? That doesn't happen with Bitcoin. If you control your own private key, you can get it whenever you darn please. It's just like cash, but it's digital. Come on. Yeah, I think we'll have more and more of those. I wouldn't be surprised if we have more people valuing their wealth in cash, trying to get it out of putting it under their mattress. Not really too safe. Much Bitcoin is a lot better. Okay. So, but that's going on back east. So 123 No Scope said, Bitcoin Meister, just retweeted your stop the panic tweet. Love the take. I have such similar views. Dude, I know you do, man. I know you're a young dude, and there are a lot of young people who agree with me on what I said today. Just how ludicrous the situation has become, where people are worshiping the government. Compliance is encouraged. But we're going to talk Bitcoin rationality here on today's show, because in the sea of panic and irrationality, and most people are not rational most of the time, but there are some rational people out there in Bitcoin and beyond Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about them today. Gigi has some tweets out there today. I think it was something that Gigi, he's been on the show before, I think something that he's trying to convey and make a point is that during these times when people are locked up, that Bitcoin does not need a physical. You don't need, for Bitcoin to succeed, it doesn't need a physical contact. Okay, you don't need to go to the bank to withdraw your cash. It is digital cash, And this is, if you want to look at a positive spin, Bitcoin can still be transacted the same way it was before all this irrationality and people locking themselves out began. So Bitcoin is the perfect currency for a panic, an irrational panic situation. It is without borders. It is, people are like, it's in the ether. It's so fake. No, you can see now why that's a selling point right now. Okay. You can't get sick from it. You can't get sick from a lot of things. No, trust me. CraigShip.com has sent $5 in the super chat from an undisclosed location in near Camp David. He says, all I know is I own more Bitcoin today than I did a week ago. Buying the dip will never sell. Pound that like button. That is the attitude. That is, during, when Bitcoin's on sale, like this, of course you want to own more Bitcoin than you did last week, as I do. I own more Bitcoin than I did last week. That's all I know. I'm not a weak hand panicker. As yesterday's show, I said, the going to zero FUD came back. I mean, who believes such irrationality? Well, 80%ers, but baby, we're 20%ers here. We're productive during this time when so many people do not want to be productive. Oh my God, the very definition of 80%ers. The 20%ers right now, they're producing more than 80% of everything during a time of irrationality like this. I mean, let's get into some rationality here. Oh no, before the rationality, let's talk about Bakkt. Bakkt, here's their official post. I don't care about what CoinDesk says. I'm going straight to the horse's mouth. Bakkt completes a $300 million Series B, but Bakkt is just going at it. Good for them. And it just shows you that life goes on, people. Okay, that it's not the end of the world. They're long Bitcoin, all right? They know there's a day after tomorrow. They know there's a tomorrow, which a lot of people have forgotten. So, and they're going about their business, which is great. Good example there. But their official post about this, it just shows you Bakkt's going to do well, and they probably are going to do well. Bakkt gives users control over their digital assets. Well, you don't really need Bakkt's permission to get control. I mean, you just need a Trezor, but whatever. Most people don't know that, I guess. Whether it's miles from your favorite airline, loyalty points from the local grocery store, or Bitcoin you purchased, the Bakkt app enables you to aggregate all of these assets into a single digital wallet. In just a few taps, you can use those assets to shop at your favorite merchants, send them to family and friends, or convert them to cash. Offended by selling. Oh, God. Oh, we believe that you hold more value than you realize, and we're here to help you track, spend, and send your digital assets however you want. And of course, they'll charge you for it. And people will think this is something that's great. Oh, man. I don't know what to say. Control your own private key. I don't care about airline miles. They keep track of my airline miles and my Bitcoin for me, and then they take some of my Bitcoin. Great. Wow, that seems like a great deal. But hey, compete, don't complain. Compete, don't complain. They've got an eager audience out there. Okay. So you don't need Bakkt. You need yourself. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. But I think Bakkt sees today that, in fact, what the mainstream culture is of bootlicking and depending on third parties and crying to the government and being a simp. So they're going to do well. So let's see. We got people in the chat. Hey, FamTV says, hey, Bitcoin Meister. Thanks again for the positivity. Thanks for appreciating the positivity, FamTV. Baby, energy, love and life, baby. I'm going to run. I didn't run today because it rained. You got to take one day off. Today I decided to fast. I'm in the middle of a 48-hour fast, or it'll probably be a little less than 40. It'll probably be 46 or 47 hours. Yeah, I'm loving life, baby. Okay, Vengeance said all those doomers who prep for hard times sure are silly, Adam. Yeah, they are. It's ridiculous. I mean, everything is functioning still in society. So I want to take that. I think it's good to be prepared. I think they were completely ridiculous to think the end of the world is coming. This is not the end of the world. Things are going to be fine tomorrow. For the guys that are cheering this on, that think this is their wet dream, I mean, yeah, dude. Keep on up making. If that entertains people, that entertains people. To each their own. So it's good to have supplies. Obviously, I don't want to say but prepped. It was good to prep. And it's good. It's good to have stuff on. Depending on how insane. I mean, if you built yourself a bunker, I think it's ridiculous. But the seriousness of the situation. I mean, what's going on out there? If you're a young, healthy adult, you're not going to get. You might contract it. You might be positive from it, but you sure aren't dying from it. Okay, yeah, you're not dying at it at a higher rate than you would in for many diseases that are out there. There are unlucky people out there that have heart conditions. They don't know they have heart conditions. They get a cold, they die. That happens. It's part of life. Life can be harsh. Okay, that's just it. And I think this is such an overblown situation. It is unbelievable. So some of the guys who actually know it's an overblown situation are loving it because they can say, "Look, I prepared," but they know it's overblown. They know it's ridiculous. And you can go to the supermarket. I can't hear you laughing at I mean, I think people who have a doom mentality, who have a negative mentality, who wish for the worst, who get jollies off of negative things, I think they're ridiculous people. I don't think they're successful people. I'd like to be around positive people and people who are in motion and people who are producing. So good. I'm glad people have canned. It's so funny. When I ran in the alley the other day by the 99-cent store, there was a dumpster out there that was packed, literally packed with canned food. So I mean, if you didn't prep, if you don't have a bunker with a bunch of canned food in there, you can just go to the freaking 99-cent store where people are defecating behind the store and everything, and you can get all for free. You can get all the canned food you want still. So that's how end of the world we are right now. No one can get any food. Yet if you're a total crackhead bum defecating behind the 99-cent store, right there on La Brea, on the 800 block of La Brea, right out there, because I think the canned foods probably had expired a day ago. They just dumped a bunch in there. I mean, we're in such a time of abundance still, but people are living in this irrational mindset. It's unbelievable. The abundance is still amazing that is out there. But hey, people can deny it as much as they want to. They can live in doom. They can love the doom pee if they want to. People are free to do that. All right. So any tips for balancing? This is 2Froggy404 says, any tips on balancing a fiat savings plan versus going all in on Bitcoin? Well, it's not good to have your savings, a savings account at a bank is very bad. Not a good thing. There's no point to save in fiat. The United States, people think it's a conspiracy. Oh, they keep on printing. They have such bad. No, they haven't been. I mean, I said this before we had this virus panic. The United States government, all the governments of the world aren't hiding anything. They want you to spend that stuff. It is not for saving anymore. It is not for saving. Fiat is not for savings. So I do not have a savings account. I don't know if I've ever had a savings. Maybe when I was a little kid, my grandma had one for me. I don't even know. But any tips on balancing a fiat savings plan versus going all in big? So no, I went all in Bitcoin. I mean, but that I'm not going to say that everybody should go all in Bitcoin. But if you want to save, I mean, this is a great time to start your Bitcoin savings account when it's on sale. But to set up a regular savings account in a bank when they can have bail-ins, when clearly there's going to be fiat inflation. I don't think it's going to be hyperinflation. But I mean, now they're saying, they're going to bail out everyone every now. That's part of the title today. What is next? What's next for the fiat regimes of the world? What are they going to do next? What's the next gimmick going to be? And you could worry about that if you want to. I don't worry about it because I'm in Bitcoin, because every gimmick they do over the long run helps Bitcoin. But they want to, Mitt Romney of all people, I mean, he's obviously a liberal Republican. He wants to give $1,000 to everyone, which is great. I already spent my $1,000 that he's going to give to me for Bitcoin the other day. It's awesome. So, I mean, no, I wouldn't want to store my value in something that Mitt Romney is going to give away to everyone. soon, or that every airline is going to get real soon for free. It's free. You don't buy something that you can get for free. How about that? And that's true with cryptocurrency, and that's true with fiat. I would not be hoarding the dollars that you're going to get for free, and that so many other people get for free. Oh, that's a new one of mine. All right, so let's go to marketticker.org, market-ticker.org. Carl Denninger is one of the great people. Well, again, sometimes he can be. I mean, I don't agree with everything that he says. But today's entries on marketticker.org, and again, today is March the 16th. So if you're watching this in the future, he posts something new every day. But everything from today was great. And Denninger is onto something with people blindly repeating the big, scary numbers for the virus. Everyone wants to come out of this with their own personal scary story of how they almost died. Oh, I almost died. But yeah, then I survived. But just notice this on social media. So don't fall for it. Everyone wants to make it personal. When is it personal? I mean, again, truly, if you're living in the United States right now, are you encountering this at all? Are you getting sick? Do you know someone who's sick? Do you know? Did someone die that you know? No. It's very few people who have really encountered. But everyone wants to make it personal because everyone wants to virtue signal on social media about it. But and so going back to Carl's point, I just went off on a tangent. But he gives statistics out there. He gives that things may not be as bad as people are just repeating the same blind, scary statistics about this. That it's 1% of the people can die, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he gives real, rational proof of that, it's probably not the best idea to shut down the economy. And that it may be overblown. So read it for a rational, calm perspective today. What he posted today. So okay, what's this? Oh, here's a quote. I don't even know where this is from some blog. This is funny. Went out early today to pick some groceries. I don't need to stockpile. I keep enough for several months on hand at all times. Still, the local Walmart was fascinating. The grocery shelves looked like an 11-year-old had turned loose with mommy's credit card. Snacks, Hot Pockets, ramen noodles, chicken fingers, all gone. Vegetables, except for potatoes, fruit, cheese, meat, other than hamburgers, all available in abundance. If the virus scare goes on long enough, scurvy may be the real threat. So here we go again. People, they're trying to stockpile when they don't need to stockpile, and they're buying the worst possible things that are just going to lower their resistance. So again, for the people who, for some reason, maybe there's some wealthy people out there that go out to dinner every night, and now they have no food, and so they're scared. If you go to a frickin' Walmart, you can get, the people are so stupid they're not buying meat. All you need is animal and you're fine. But hey, vegetables and fruit too. They're buying the processed stuff, which is insane because they probably got stuff in their freezer that's been sitting there for 5 years. It's just as good as the new chicken fingers they're getting. It's completely ridiculous. So and if people are scared of getting sick, you're not, by eating chicken fingers now, you're lowering your resistance. All the things that were just mentioned there, Hot Pockets, snacks, candy. This is just people, they have no idea how to take care of themselves. So that's why so many people want the government to give them answers now and are so willing to bow down to these draconian measures. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I do find it funny that all the healthy stuff is still there. So, hey, but most people are like, oh, we need a vaccine now. We need it. No, you need to take some personal responsibility, get healthy, lose that weight. You're not going to lose that weight. You're not going to be able to be a runner if you eat Hot Pockets all day and Starburst or whatever you're buying at Walmart. Pound that like button. So the stock market was down 3,000 points today. Now, Bitcoin wasn't down. It appears Bitcoin is magically uncorrelated again. And it is uncorrelated, okay? There wasn't a mega crash in Bitcoin today. There was a mega crash in the stock market today. So, there are a lot of people who are like, oh, why does Bitcoin follow the stock market now? Come on, short-term thinkers. It's sometimes there's going to be some overlap there. When the whole world is overblowing some virus. But no, today it seemed quite uncorrelated today for those people worried about that. So speaking about rationality, and I don't know if they're still doing this because everything's changing all the darn time, but the United Kingdom, Britain, every Britain over they said they were going to do this. I don't know if they're still going to do this, but it's some people saying it's a rational and science-based approach to the virus by Britain. Every Briton over the age of 70 will be told within the coming weeks to stay at home for an extended period to protect themselves from coronavirus. Well, how about and maybe they're closing them to not instead of, but hey, why don't we just send this, the people that are susceptible to this supposedly, why not just say to them, hey, maybe you should stay home and let the productive people be productive. Maybe you should do that because maybe this isn't as bad as people think it is. 1%. Because there were people on the book. They're talking about and Carl Janninger talked about this today, that, all the people that were stuck on that boat, I forgot what it was called. But, there were some people that got sick. I think there were some people that died, but there were plenty of people who, that were old, who got the virus, who had no symptoms at all, which, that's just the way it is. Yeah. Everyone that's scared they're going to contract it. You might have it right now, dude. How scary is that? Not very. You're not getting sick. What you're doing is you're believing these third and fourth and fifth party stories about, look, in this foreign European country, a 17-year-old is on a ventilator. Oh, it must be happening all over the place. And did it really happen at all? That's another big question. But with some of these third and fifth party stories that everyone wants to be so attached, it affected me personally because some 17-year-old in my country might have ended up on a ventilator when it didn't really happen at all. The stuff you hear on social media, the fake news you hear out there, the panic-stricken stuff. Guys, live your lives. Have a strong, if you're a healthy young person, again, under 30, under 40, I believe even. Come on. But hey, you can live in the panic prison. I advise you to watch if you don't have the panic attitude that all these people have, watch my videos and retweet that tweet that I did today. I think you will find something in common with me because we need rational people that are going out of this, bootlicking situation where everyone's got to conform to, on social media to we must shut everything down. No, we mustn't. Well, if you're not a long-term thinker, shutting down the economy is going to kill a lot of people for real, dude, for freaking real. Now let's go. Jim in FF2K sent $1.99. He said Bitcoin will price its value shortly. Strong hand. Yeah, shortly, medium term, whatever. I'm patient. I'm in no rush. I'm living my life. Things aren't changing for me. I am not a fiat freak, but I do know one thing, Jim. I do know one thing. One day closer to an all-time high. And yes, you said Bitcoin will show its value shortly. Strong hand. It will show its value shortly. All right, now, and also one thing that Carl Denninger talked about is that, and I don't advise anyone to do this, but there's anti-malaria medication that apparently the South Koreans were giving to some of their people, and it worked for older people. Now, don't go taking anti-malarial medications if you're a young person. There are side effects to anti-malarial medications. When I was in Mozambique, I thought about should I take because I was freaking out in 2016. I didn't want to get bit by a mosquito. I don't want to get malaria. But what I did was I just didn't go out at night because I read about these anti-malarials and they can have long-term effects on you that aren't good. But if you were really sick with this disease, okay, if you really had this disease and you're about to go on a ventilator or something horrible, and so few people that it happens to, then yeah, it's worth it to experiment with the anti-malarial at that point. And apparently the South Koreans did this. Carl Denninger talked about this. And some other people have talked about this. And this there's cases out there, obviously in South Korea, where people have been they've experimented on themselves by taking this anti-malarial medication. Maybe this is something that will help. That's already out there. I don't know, but I wanted to throw that out there for all the doomers out there. They think it's the end of the world. We need a vaccine. And there's so many people that are like, yes, I will take that vaccine immediately. Dude, now I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but dude, you're not sick. You don't have it. And you're going to take the most rushed vaccine in the history of mankind into your body. That might not be a good idea. Personally, I have never taken a flu vaccine in my life. Never. What the heck? I was talking to my grandma the other day. She said the one time she took it, she got sick. Now, there are, and she's part of that vulnerable population. She's in her late 90s now. So, we have so many people who do not think out there, okay, who are just blowing this out of proportion. Let there be a vaccine. That would be great if they make a vaccine and people can opt into it if they want to opt into it. Forced vaccinations of the most untested vaccination of all time, that's really bad. That's worse than anything I've heard that's going on right now. If any government forces every one of their people to take an untested vaccine, just now during this, the police coming to your door and like holding a gun to your head saying you better take this. And not that it's getting to that, but there's some people who are so compliant they want this. This situation has revealed so much about people, so much about people's values. It is unbelievable, very, very interesting. There's a positive take on all this. Now, okay, so the media, one thing, and a lot of, soap opera type of fans and Oprah type of fans, they love this. This makes it warm. This makes it like connect to them. And the media is just like Inside Edition now. It's just a yenta most of the mainstream media is about gossip. But the media is pathetic. And people are falling, they're mentioning every single star player and famous person. Tom Hanks has it. But then they fail to say, are these people actually ill? No, they're just they contracted this thing. We all get colds all the time, dude. Does the media have a big press release when a famous person got a cold and has no symptoms of that cold? No. But everyone is like eagerly awaiting the next famous person that they can hug and say, oh, he's such a victim. And the funny thing about Tom Hanks is, and it's not funny, but I hear he's, for some reason, he's a diabetic. And he wasn't, so he actually, getting this isn't, you don't want to get sick when you're a diabetic at all. And wow, such a wealthy man. And he's eating that bad where he's become overweight and has those type of issues. Now, if he was born with, I don't think he was born that way. I think this is a recent development in his life. So yeah, I went off on a tangent there. But guys, live through yourself. You didn't get it. If Tom Hanks got it or his wife got it or some famous basketball player got it, you didn't get it. Don't feel like, you have it. You don't have it. And, or at least maybe you have it, but you have no symptoms. So it's a two-pronged thing here. Everyone wants to, show who the latest victim is, but at the same time, they're not showing these so-called victims are perfectly healthy. They have it. They're testing positive for it, but they're not ill. They're not ill. And people are forgetting that's an option, a really big option with this, that most people who get it aren't ill at all, apparently. 123 No Script said, Bitcoin Meister, I know you talk about having hype. Oh, I do. But I enjoy the lack of coverage by the mainstream about the halving. Keeps it under the radar. They can cover it in 2024 when it's expensive. Well, I think that's a good attitude to have. I would rather, in passing, because I don't watch the mainstream media, but obviously it does blend into some of the things that I see. When you're looking on Twitter and it shows what's trending, I would rather see, having hype trending than Tom Hanks trending. Okay. But hey, I'm dealing with what the situation is, what life has dealt us here. And if the mainstream wants to worry about Tom Hanks instead of their finances, hey, And then they'll complain in a few years why they're poor. You're poor because you were worshiping. Oh, didn't he die in the movie? I don't remember that darn movie. My girlfriend made me at the time. Eventually, I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it later. My girlfriend at the time, whose birthday's coming up soon. I was thinking about her earlier today. It made me watch that movie. It was an all right movie. I liked some aspects of it. Anyway, okay. Moving away from Tom Hanks, greatest American hero. So, what do you have here? We talked about the British, the media being pathetic. Yeah, we already knew that. Yeah, it looks like some Asian countries are about to start professional sports again without crowds. So, guys, keep me updated on the countries that are coming back to normal, okay? Because you never know. Still don't know exactly where I'm going after April 20th. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air where I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go to Israel, but they're getting police state on their own people. I mein, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous what's going on there. And they wouldn't let me in without a 2-week. I'd have to lock myself up for 2 weeks, which I can't do there. But again, Israel is not the only culprit. There are many other countries. But no, I'm not going to a country where I'm going to have to quarantine myself. I want to go to a country where they're back to playing sports again. So keep me updated, people. I know a lot of people did a lot of places. But if it's an Asian country, European country, wherever, I will sit out there for some period of time. But if not, I'll travel to American cities too if they don't have a lockdown. I would love to go to Seattle. I have no problem going to Seattle. But if they lock it down, I've got a problem. Okay, if they're not letting people out of their house. But America has not gone the Italy route still, which is good, which is positive. But who knows what's next? We've got so many virtue signaling mayors and governors just trying to outdo the other one. Who knows what's next? All right. So let's talk calmly about the economic insanity and the recession, because we're in a recession. There's no doubt about it. But what has brought on this recession? Because there is a day after today. There's a day after tomorrow. People, it's really simple. People are not working. People who should be working are not working. There's a lack of productivity, and it's just to an extreme that there has to be a recession. But eventually, here's the thing. Eventually, people are going to work again, and they're going to come back with a vengeance in terms of spending. They're going to be people maybe longer hours at bars to make up for all the downtime that there've been no bars that are open. Longer hours at restaurants, and people like gung-ho about returning to normalcy, because we're one day closer to returning to normalcy. You have to think about that too. So will there be a lot of spending to make up for the shortfall in spending after this all ends? No, probably not. Probably not. But just think about why we're in a recession right now. People are not working, but they will work again. Now, some businesses will die because of this recession too, but many will get bailed out. So just think logically. Business will come back. There's going to be overtime. There's going to be people who just want to spend, just want to take it to an extreme to make up for this downtime. Yeah, when you look back on the year of 2020 and compare it to 2021, and to 2019, it will be the least productive. No doubt about it. But 2021 might be on steroids. Who knows about it? Who knows? But we're going to get to that. So on that note, Dan Tapiero's tweet reminded me of something that I forgot about because I was young back in the day. Markets shock causing abrupt work stoppage probably warrants market closure. Now, I don't agree with that, but commerce grinding to a standstill. Well, I agree with that. That's definitely going on. Regardless, Bitcoin will not close, and that's a great reminder. It doesn't need to close, and that is the point. Well, okay, we get that point, at least in the Bitcoin overlay, we get that point. But for people that think this is the worst thing ever, the stock market freaking closed for a week. Markets all over the world, I believe, closed for a week in September of 2001. And that has not happened. The stock market is still open now. And so if the stock market were to close all of a sudden now, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to cause more panic. And when it reopens, it'll have a huge crash. So, but interesting to compare this period to the 9/11 thing. And everyone wants this to be the next lot. Not everyone, but sickening people out there, sick people who love doom and gloom, want this to be their own personal 9/11 because they can't remember 9/11. They were 10 years old back then. Now they're 30 years old. They want. I mean, this is. I said this in another video, but it's a partially manufactured black swan. All these people that want it to personally affect them to be worse than 9/11, but on this level, it isn't worse than 9/11. The stock market's didn't close; they're still open. People are still being productive over there. So there, compare and contrast. All right, Bitcoin Meister. This is from. Oh wait, okay. Let's go. We're going to bench in a second because Ben Franklin. I almost skipped this guy. Ben Franklin likes stacking sats. Bitcoin Meister says one Corona coin is one Corona coin. I guess, dude. Yeah, they're coiners are. You can produce anything here in the free market of cryptocurrency. All right, so Bitcoin Meister says it's the economic cycle. We tend to have a nasty recession every 7 to 10 years. We have been overdue for a couple years now. That's part of, Vention, you've said, I know your short-term memory isn't that great. You forget things sometimes. You have said that line so many times, but I read it because there are people here who aren't familiar with you saying that 7 to 10 year thing that you've said so many times. And then you always mention that you sold your house and you talk about your silver. I just want to say you do mention that a lot. And that's your thing. That's your thing. I am very familiar with it because I watch all your videos. And you have said that line so many times. It's unbelievable. But no, I believe there are economic cycles and there are recessions. Recessions happen. And this recession, people have put out, they've done a good job of putting it off. It's not happening for the usual natural reasons. It's happening because of this. There's two. I think if the virus panic didn't happen, and the oil thing that's going on happened, I think that would be a really good time to use your line. Hey, it's the economic cycle. We tend to have a nasty recession every 7 to 10 years. We've been overdue for a couple years now. That's part of the reason. That's part of why I sold my house last year. If it was caused, if this whole virus thing didn't happen, and it was, if we look back on 2020 and said, hey, that was a recession, and it was caused because of the Saudis and the Russians and the oil production, there was an oil panic. I think that fits more into your 7 to 10 year cycle, that we have these economic abnormalities that happen that scare people. But this virus thing's this is a whole nother animal, man. This is a whole nother animal, and it's becoming a 9/11 type of thing. And again, it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be this way. We had the swine flu thing in 2009. Really, I think this could have been a swine flu type of thing, H1N1, whatever it was called. I don't even know what. People are so comfortable and people want to manufacture crises that if we would have had the technology that we have now and the social media that we have now, back in 2009, we would have had this in 2009 with the H1N1. So, yeah, and H1N1 didn't cause a recession. It didn't. Before that, that was the that recession of 2008 was caused by the financial markets and everything. So I mean, that was a naturally occurring one. So I'm not saying we weren't going to have a recession this year anyway, because of the oil and everything. But this thing is out of the ordinary. This manufactured crisis, mostly manufactured crisis, which is definitely fueling this recession now. There's no doubt about it. This is the main fuel to the fire. I wouldn't go repeating your classic repeating line for that. But it is nonetheless, it is a recession. There is no doubt about it. It's been a while since we had one. And so there you are. So I'm glad you sold your house, I guess. I mean, let me tell you what, I sold my house because I didn't like having a headache and I didn't. And I started to value my wealth in Bitcoin, and I think it's a better it's a much better financial asset than real estate. So I don't really care about recessions and all that stuff. In terms of how I make my financial decisions, I make my financial decisions on, what do I think is the best financial asset out there, and what's a pain in the butt. And real estate is a pain in the butt, and Bitcoin's a superior asset. So when we have recessions, it's good to have the superior asset. But I'm never too, I don't make financial decisions around when I think there's going to be a depression, when I think there's going to be a recession. Because I know that even during the worst depressions, people who are in motion are productive and do very well. And okay, and that's something to stress here too, that we're going to be in a recession, but that means a lot of people are going to be doom and gloomers and crying and stuff and not being in motion. And so that's less competition. So you can do really awesome during a time like this. All right, so. Moving on, we talk about the markets being closed. We talk about Dan Tapiero. MintGox. What's this MintGox thing? It sounds like Mount Gox. So no, I don't like the name. But today we're launching a project to bring, and this is speaking about people in motion, speaking about people who are going to do well during a recession. Today we're launching a project to bring people together online and demonstrate the power of Bitcoin and Lightning as a global digital payment system. Magic Internet Gathering, MintGox. What's it say? Man-made. Okay, stay tuned for information about upcoming events. High voltage. Okay, so it's called magicinternetgathering.com. It's linked to below. High voltage sign video game. I don't know what this exactly is, but hey, he's bringing people together online. So, obviously people can't get together physically anymore. And it demonstrates the power of Bitcoin and Lightning. Okay, good. You're in motion. You're doing stuff. People have retweeted that. I thought I would add, just give you guys some knowledge of magicinternetgathering.com. It is linked to below. All right, now. All right, Ben Franklin likes stacking sats, says Bitcoin Meister, pound that Corona button. Pound that like button, dude. Pound that retweet button also. So what Udi, so yeah, governments right now are pretty distracted, well, not distracted, are obsessed with the virus. And there's only and the governments are sending people home. Their lazy workers aren't working as much as they used to. So there's distraction over there in the bureaucracy. And I think we can take a positive take on this, that in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin space, they won't be trying to regulate it as much. So there might be a lot of opportunity to do some wild and wacky things when they're not looking, because they were about to give the slap down to some ICOs and all of this, all of the crypto degenerates out there that some people would consider them degenerates. I do not. But previously, this is Udi. Previously, there were expectations of major clampdowns on semi-compliant exchanges this quarter or next. I think the chances of this happening anytime soon are roughly zero. It's no longer a priority. Well, that's awesome. Good. Let the non-compliant. And in these days, I am really against compliance. I'm all about defiance over compliance. Pound that like button. But hey, if the countries of the world are obsessed with this virus thing, it's great. Be obsessed with it. And then the exchanges and the cryptocurrency people can just do what they're going to do without being annoyed and bothered by you freakazoids, by you control freak governments out there. Interesting question here from Whale Panda. What's next? Fed cuts to negative interest rates, universal basic income, bailouts coming. Well, I'm sure bailouts are coming. I mean, that's already happened, basically. When will the Fed cut to negative interest rates? That's an interesting question. That has been sped up by this, no doubt. Because we were going to get to negative interest rates eventually. But this situation where no one's working, yeah, we're close to that. I mean, it could be this year. That's wild. I would not predict this at the beginning of 2020. I would never have predicted this. Universal basic income. Well, Mitt Romney wants to give $1,000 to every American. We've had George Bush Jr. gave $1,000. We had some tax refund with him at one point, but UBI would be more like every month for the next year. Everyone's getting $1,000. Now that I expect last out of all those three options: bailouts, Fed cutting the negative interest rates. To get $1,000, every American getting $1,000 a month for a year or even a half year, that could, I don't know if that's exactly going to happen. I mean, that's why you asked the question, what's next? So you people tell me what's next. Or do you think that's going to happen? Are we going to really get a UBI starting in 2020? So, hey, if they want to do that, I already spent my UBI on Bitcoin. And man, I am glad I did. I'm glad I did. Before I spent it before they got it, because I understood. I mean, and I think everyone should understand something ridiculous is coming, and so there's going to be a lot more dollars out there. So Bitcoin might not be on sale at that point when you get your dollars. So if you have some extra dollars now, might as well get some bang for your buck, as they say. Okay, we got Roman Q says, Bitcoin Meister, what would you predict comes first, negative interest rates or bail-in? Oh, that's a good question, because Greece and Cyprus had bail-ins. Oh yeah, negative interest rates will come first. Negative, good question nonetheless. What's first, UBI or bail-ins? And clearly, some countries will do bail-ins again before the United States does UBI. The United States will not do bail-ins before UBI. The United States will do bail-ins after UBI if we get to the bail-in stage. I don't know if we'll get to the bail-in stage in the United States, but I do fear, I do think, not fear, because I fear nothing. I do think that some Western nations or close to Western nations are going to go that bail-in route for what I mean. It might not even be for this crisis. It might be for another one. Okay, and this is from Balaji. Now let's do Aaron real quick. This has been a long show, hasn't it? Well, whatever. You're getting long shows. This is from Aaron Von Weirdum. He's been on the show before. Having analyzed the COVID-19 transmission in 100 Chinese cities with at least 40 cases, these researchers think that summer will indeed slow down the virus. I mean, that is like a really important thing. If just warmer weather slows this thing down, then like already countries around the equator, they shouldn't even worry about this if there was anything to worry about in the first place. Again, panic people. Let's go back to logic and reason and rationality. Lots of diseases, when the summer comes, they go away. That's just the way of life. Maybe this is the same. Let's look at our statistics instead of screaming and crying. Balaji, who is not, he's panicked before. He's led to the panic a little bit, but he's got a good tweet out there. So I mean, I'm willing to listen to anyone out there. There are a lot of people screaming and just, I can't take it, that are really irrational, but there's some people who are scared, but they're somewhat rational about it. So here he says, remember, lockdown is an extraordinarily expensive move, and we've talked about why, that costs countless billions of dollars per day. It's like holding your breath. You can't do it for long, and that's a good comparison. The only long-term solution is diagnostics, drugs, he says vaccines, telemedicine. Telemedicine is important too. In a word, technology. Also, the only way to know if lockdown is even working is enormous scale diagnostics capability. Otherwise, we don't know if we're bending the curve at all. So there you go. let's be productive. Let's work on technology. And at this point, we don't even know if shutting everything down, lockdown, is working, and it's only going to last for so long. People are going to get very restless. I encourage people to be restless right now and don't accept this. Protest and say, no, we're drawing a line in the sand. I am not down with this lockdown. I'm not going to cheer on people locking down others. And so, but again, his main point is that we don't even know if lockdown works, and it can only be implemented for so long in free countries, at least. And that out of this whole situation, we should come up with some better technologies where we don't even need to suggest lockdown as an option. And I'm still sickened that so many people just love to think that lockdown is such an awesome option. It's so unproductive, and the lockdowns are costing people billions of dollars, and it's going to cost people's lives. It's going to cause people to die. The lack of productivity, more so perhaps than would have died from just people going about their daily activities like they did in 2009 with the swine flu or whatever that was, H1N1. So here's a line of mine: of authority is a much worse sickness than this virus. On that like button. Gigi, here's a tweet of Gigi's. He says, yo, Peter Schiff, we're coming for your S-Coin. And he shows it. And I don't care about Peter Schiff. And I don't care about attacking Peter Schiff. I don't think that's the right way to do it. But whatever, people get into that on social media. But what he was showing was a graph that shows that buy Bitcoin searches have now gone. There are more buy Bitcoin searches with Google than buy gold searches. Okay, I think that's a positive. Going back to Rationality for a second, I have said this on the last 3 shows. I'm going to say it again. It's linked to below. Dr. Amesh Adalja, if you want a rational voice on Twitter with this whole virus thing, it's him. Follow him. Rocky, who's also in Southern California, gave me a Bcash halving update. He says Bcash halving is probably going to be on April the 8th. Bitcoin is going to be on May 12th, probably. Another way to look at it is that Bcash halving is in 3.5 weeks, and Bitcoin's halving is just under 2 months. That's going to be over a month of double inflation on Bcash's blockchain. So what he's saying there's a Bcash will have their supply, and for a month before Bitcoin gets there. So the miners are going to all jump to Bitcoin for that month, and he predicts a lot of doom and gloom for Bcash. Because of this whole virus thing, I thought the Bcash story would be one of the Bcash halving story would wake up the final few people that did not know the Bitcoin halving was coming. But right now, that information that Rocky just put out there, April 8th being the Bcash halving date, I mean, you're getting inside information here. No one knows about that at this point. More people know that some guy on the Utah Jazz got freaking diagnosed with a virus. All right, and that you should feel bad for him, even though he's not sick and he's a multimillionaire and he's fine, and that you're living through him and you're not him. And you're not being productive, and you're not going to end up a multimillionaire if you care about him more than yourself. So here we go. And you live vicariously through some dudes. And what do we have? Tordemeester. And this is great for all you bank bail-in people out there. The Federal Reserve Board has reduced reserve requirement ratios to 0%. So in other words, U.S. banks can now lend out or reinvest up to 100% of their customers' deposits. Whoa, we got no rules anymore in bank land. So for the guy who was asking about, savings account with banks, if you have a savings account at a bank, you better expect that the minute you put your money in there, they're just giving all of it out. Your money's not really there anymore. You think your cash is there, it's not there. So that's a reason why Bitcoin is a better savings account, because when you've got your Bitcoin on your Trezor, that's a 100% requirement of your deposit. You know that 100% of your deposit of your wealth is there on your Trezor. As opposed to now, they're not even lying. I mean, every bank in the world, in the United States now, doesn't have to keep anything on hand anymore. Wow. But that was part of the emergency Fed stimulus, whatever you want to call it, from the other day. Just wanted to put that out there. J.W. Weatherman says we should reserve simp, the term simp, for those simpering for government to fix all their problems. Yes, we should. That is a good term to call all these people that want the government to solve all their problems. Isaac Menting says, Bitcoin Meister just bought some Bitcoin. Strong hand. Strong hand, brother. Strong hand, brother. That's great. Great to hear. Okay, I'm not going to say that. I'll save that for another day. Oh, I forgot this yesterday. Coinbase was in my title, and I talked a little bit about Coinbase. But Coinbase is about to close its largest weekly volume candle. This was last week, ever, in terms of Bitcoin transacted. Bitstamp has only had 2 larger weeks. So there's a positive news there. People playing around in the Bitcoin space, some of them were panic selling, but some of them were buying those weak hands. Huge volume on Coinbase. Huge volume on Coinbase last week. Weekly volume was their record. Okay, so that's great. That's good. A reminder, 56 days until the Bitcoin halving. 1 day closer, halving hype. Check it out at bitcoinblockhalf.com. All right, so don't follow the herd, people. I think you get that. Well, that is the end of the show. I am now going to read you. For those, again, and I think all of you should go to my Twitter feed, TechBalt, or it's linked to below, the actual tweet that I'd love for all of you to retweet, because a lot of you are going to agree with this. And I'm going to read. So, hey, pound that like button, bang that bell button. We're going to close with this, me saying what I said on that tweet video. It'll take about 1 minute and 50 seconds of your time. My name is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister, and I want to reach out to the independent, free-thinking people of the world. Are you tired of the virus, panic, and hysteria? Bitcoin gives you panic immunity. Buying Bitcoin is a skin-in-the-game protest against the virus, panic, and hysteria. The hysteria and rise of authoritarianism is sickening. Teaching young people to be unquestionably compliant and setting an example of blind worship of authority is a much worse sickness than this virus. Bitcoiners are known as people who do not follow the herd. There is an alternative to the herd mentality here in the Bitcoin overlay. I invite you to opt out of the hysteria and escape the mainstream panic prison and become an independent Bitcoin thinker. We are living in a golden age. There's so much opportunity in Bitcoin. Do not be blinded by the mainstream doom that dominates social media these days. Tired of cancellations and cancelers? Bitcoin never closes. It can't be shut down by even the biggest victim virtue signaler in social media. The Bitcoin halving is in May. The Bitcoin halving in May will not be canceled. Now more than ever, the halving is not priced in. Bitcoin is about being in motion and productive and defiant in an age where many people are encouraging others to shut down and be dependent and be compliant. History will remember those who remained independent, free-thinking, and refused to conform and truly resisted becoming a compliant bootlicker. Set an example with Bitcoin. Never lie. Pound that retweet button. All right, dudes. Everybody have a great night. I'll say hi to everyone in the chat, spread the word, and seriously retweet that thing. See ya. Bye.